feel that little snap in the air? That's playoff football. And right now, 4 different storylines are orbiting this Chargers team. But one of them has the kind of pull that can shift the whole week. There's a phone call happening nowhere near SoFi that could mess with the brain of our defense. There's a rookie dealing with an ankle who's basically saying, "I'm putting on the powder blue," even while the paperwork is waving the caution flag. And there's a real lane for Justin Herbert to finally break through, if the trenches cooperate and the noise stays outside the building. Because January doesn't just measure talent, it measures focus. It measures your locker room. It measures chemistry. And while we're all staring at Sunday night in Foxboro, the rest of the league is looking at what the Chargers have built like it's something they can pick from. When you start winning, teams don't only study your tape. They start trying to take the people who made you tougher. That's why Jesse Minter is the first name that matters here. He's the mind behind a defense that's developed an identity, aggressive, disciplined, quick to adjust, very Harbaugh ball. For a minute, it felt like Baltimore was the obvious threat, especially if the Ravens truly are reshuffling after moving on from John Harbaugh. Then the curveball. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport said the Tennessee Titans have put in a request to interview Minter for their head coaching job. And that hits different. A 3-14 team can pitch a coach the ultimate reset button. Top draft pick, a #1 overall quarterback in Cam Ward to build around, and someone like Jeffrey Simmons already sitting there on defense. Toss in the AFC South, and yeah, you can see the appeal. It's not just a job. It's the ability to steer the entire thing. In the short term, though, it's uncomfortable. Not because Minter is walking out the door this weekend, but because playoff football punishes even tiny mental lapses. One late communication on a coverage switch, one beat of hesitation on 3rd and long, one bad leverage angle, season over. And yet I'll say this, there's also a little pride baked into it. Teams don't come hunting your staff if you're irrelevant. They do it when you're a problem. And the pressure doesn't end with Minter. With John Harbaugh being floated as a top candidate for the Miami Dolphins, Chargers assistant GM Chad Alexander has become a prime candidate to join him down there as GM. The detail that grabs me, Alexander had an in-person meeting scheduled with Miami before they even fired Mike McDaniel. Think about that for a second. That's not a circle back later. That's real interest, real timing, right in the middle of a playoff week. Minter tried to keep it straightforward. Sure, competitors want that opportunity at some point, but it's easy to stay focused when the challenge is the #2 seed Patriots at 14-3 with an MVP caliber quarterback. Fair, but be honest. If the Chargers walk into New England and pull the upset, how loud is the knocking going to get the next morning? Now, let's get to the injury report tension, because this one has been hanging over the whole week. Hampton has basically become the definition of that playoff tightrope. Gut it out versus don't risk it. He didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday with the ankle issue that's kept him out since week 17. Then, Friday arrives and suddenly, he's back as a limited participant. That small change flips the mood because it cracks the door open, just enough to make every Chargers fan stare at the clock. And Hampton didn't exactly tiptoe around it. When asked if he expects to play, he told reporters, yeah, that's the plan. Ian Rappaport called it big news. Minutes earlier, Adam Schefter noted the Chargers listed Hampton as questionable. That's the push and pull. Player confidence on one side, team caution on the other. And the truth is, the final decision isn't coming until roughly 90 minutes before kickoff, when warm-ups tell you what the ankle actually looks like and the staff decides what they can live with. This matters because Hampton changes the math. If he's active, you get that downhill burst, you force linebackers to step up, and you can create space behind them. If he's limited or can't go, then Kimani Vidal becomes the engine again. And Vidal has answered before, including multiple 100-yard games with a heavier workload. Different style, but it's not a dead end. You can win that way. You just have to stay patient when the yardage comes in tough chunks, and you can't get baited into chasing the game too early. It's also tied directly to pass protection. When the O-line is struggling, the run game becomes Herbert's shield. Hampton can help slow the rush, keep fronts honest, and keep the offense out of that frantic panic mode. So yeah, Hampton says he plans to play. The report says questionable. Sunday night in Foxboro is where the answer finally shows up. So why can you actually talk yourself into this being Herbert's night? Start with the Chargers' pass rush. They finished tied for 10th with 45 sacks. Tuli Tuipulutu with 13, Odafe Owe with 7.5, Justin Eboigbe with 6 inside, and Khalil Mack with 5.5. That's pressure coming from multiple places, not one guy getting hot for a month. And it lines up with a Patriots line that allowed 47 sacks, fourth most in the league. Drake May has played at an MVP level, but nobody looks like an MVP when they're getting hit all night, especially if the rush keeps arriving in waves and you force him to speed up everything he wants to do. Yes, New England is getting healthier up front. Left tackle Will Campbell returned last week, and guard Jared Wilson has been progressing through concussion protocol. But healthier doesn't automatically mean playoff clean communication. When the cadence ramps up, when looks change post-snap, when you're living in obvious passing situations, that's where breakdowns happen. If the Chargers can get home early, the game script can tilt fast. Now, flip it to Herbert's protection, because we all know the scary part. The Chargers allowed 54 sacks, third most in the NFL, and they used a league-leading 32 different offensive line combinations. 32! That kind of instability wrecks timing, trust, and the small stuff that keeps a pocket from collapsing. But this matchup isn't hopeless. New England ranked 20th in ESPN's pass rush win rate and 25th in pressure percentage. Milton Williams is back, so you can't sleepwalk through it. But this also isn't some constant pressure unit that wins every snap, no matter what you do. And the Chargers can spread the field. 6 players reached at least 600 scrimmage yards. Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, Oronde Gadsden II, Hampton, and Vidal. That matters because the Patriots have Christian Gonzalez, who can squeeze a true number 1. Fine, make it a distribution game. Move the ball with concepts, matchups, and chunk plays across the formation. Herbert has lived on that this season. Quick decisions, smart placement, and not forcing the hero throw when the defense is begging for it. Keep an eye on New England's defensive injuries too. They've been strong against the run on the season numbers, but leading tackler Robert Spillane has missed 4 straight with an ankle issue and was limited. And defensive tackle Kyrese Tonga has missed 2 with a foot problem and didn't practice. Over the last 4 weeks, the Patriots were 22nd in EPA per rush allowed, so the surface looks tough. But there may be cracks, especially if Hampton can go and you can stay ahead of the chains. Now we get to the sore spot that's had Chargers fans grinding their teeth all year. Bradley Bozeman at center. His play has been a sticking point from the jump. He struggled last season, came back, and it's been even rougher in 2025. And it's not just tackle injuries. The interior has been a mess, and pressure up the middle wrecks timing before routes even get a chance to develop. If you've watched this team week to week, you know the feeling. The play dies before it's even a play, and Herbert's eyes go straight to escape instead of attack. What frustrates fans is it can look like the team is defending the decision to re-sign Bozeman rather than rewarding what seemed like steadier play. Week 18 turned the volume up. Andre James started in place of Bozeman against a Broncos team with plenty to play for. It wasn't perfect, but it was serviceable, steadier than what fans have seen most weeks. Then Greg Roman got asked about it and said, last week's game doesn't matter anymore. That landed like a brick. Roman's already been on thin ice with the fan base, and brushing off your own backup after he held things together? That's how you become the villain in a hurry. Could the Chargers change starting centers heading into the playoffs? Realistically, no. Center is the communicator. Swat him now, and you can blow up protection calls. But that's exactly why the frustration is so loud. This conversation should have happened long ago, or James should have gotten a longer look. Instead, Week 18 happens, and the public response feels like it's trying to bury it. And that brings us right back here. Foxboro, Sunday night, win or go home. Pressure from outside, decisions right up to kickoff. Trench matchups that can decide a season. If Minter stays locked in, if Hampton suits up, if the pass rush shows up, and if the O-line doesn't implode, Herbert can finally turn the page. Now I want to hear from you. What worries you most about this game? Do you trust the plan? Hit like, subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. Because Bolt Fam is going to be loud about this one.